How long do I have to wait till I know that I need help, that I may be infertile?
Infertility is diagnosed when a couple have been in a monogamous relationship, have been having unprotected intercourse for 12 months or more, and it's essentially when you haven't had any conceptions during that time period. It's important that you do see some form of practitioner, either a natural fertility specialist or your GP, to try to understand what some of the causes might be. If you're over the age of 35 though, it's absolutely crucial that if you have been having unprotected intercourse for 6 months and you're still not pregnant, that you do seek that assistance earlier.
And what are the most common causes for infertility?
The causes of infertility are very varied and very individual to the person. There can be anything from, if you see the female, for example, it could be endometriosis or a blocked tube, or it could be that she's not ovulating appropriately. Whereas with a male, it could be that he's either not producing any sperm or that the quality of his sperm is compromised. Saying that though, that's the mainstream medicine approach. Then there's also a whole group of other things which mainstream medicine considers unexplained infertility, and that's where natural fertility does its most wonderful treatments. Unexplained infertility, from my perspective, is generally when a person hasn't been investigated thoroughly. So you might find that there's an extreme nutritional deficiency, or there's a system that's not working well, or for example they just have an enormous amount of stress, and that's actually interfering with the quality of the female's ovulation and also their chance of conception.
What about the age of a couple trying to conceive? Does that play a factor?
Yeah, unfortunately it does. The age is the one that we can't do anything about. So unfortunately, if, for example, you look at the stats and a female over the age of 35, her fertility declines quite rapidly.
Would it be possible that fertility issues are hereditary?
Definitely. I think the way our hormones process in our bodies, there's a strong familial link. But if, for example, your mum had lots of miscarriages, then the female's chance of having a lot are very high. From a male perspective, if he's come from a genetic pool where there are either genetic abnormalities or testosterone imbalances, for example, it'll be passed on and he could have it as well. So really important to ask about a person's family history in a lot of detail, as well as siblings and cousins and aunts, because there can often be big family patterns. Saying that though, what we can do is we can try to improve the quality of the eggs and the sperm. And so that's where, from my perspective, the naturopathy is really impressive, because if, let's say, you find a major nutritional deficiency, you can have a direct correlation with improving the quality of the egg and thus her fertility as well.
And what are the biggest dangers to our fertility?
I think the things that we expose ourselves to on a daily basis, so the stress that we were talking about before, but simple things like plastics. People forget about the environmental pollutants. You look at the average household at the moment, you've got phthalates in the soft plastics like cling wrap and glad wrap and stuff. You've got all the hard plastics, everyone drinking out of water bottles. You've got tap water having all the chemicals and pollutants in it, or cleaning products. All of this stuff has an impact on our body, and what we're finding is that the biggest impact is on our fertility. There's enormous studies and data going on around the world, but in particular in Denmark, and they've seen a massive decline in sperm quality and production and count and all those other variables, specifically directing it to environmental pollutants. So what is around you has such a huge impact.
Well, thank you so much for all that information today, Leah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.